Welcome to the Tesla Show, where it's all about Tesla. Today I want to share with you some of the clips from the recent interview that Andrew Sorkin, CNBC's correspondent, had with Mary Barra, the CEO of GM. I will put a link to this interview in the description of this video, but the reason why I wanted to share this with you is because this interview shows how delusional, how ignorant some of these automaker executives are. So let's see what Mary Barra had to say, and I'm going to share some of my thoughts with you guys.
Right now, GM, in terms of the electric vehicle market, you have about 9-10% of the market. Tesla has about 63% of the market. 5 years from now, if you succeed, but everybody else has their own success in this space, what does that pie chart look like?
Well, we have said, just like we're the leader today, if you set aside, with the distortion that's happening with the semi shortage, we have been the leader in the United States. We've been number 2 in China for many years.
Wait, what? What has she just said? She said GM is the leader in the US? Is she delusional? He just mentioned to her 10% GM, 63% Tesla. And she's saying we are the leaders. I don't know what's wrong with her, but let's keep watching.
General Motors has brands that they trust. We have the highest loyalty rating. We have manufacturing plants that are ready to go. And so when I look at our ability to scale, to serve customers, I think we're incredibly well positioned, and we're not going to cede our leadership position to anyone.
What is that actually happened?
One of the fun conversations we've had over the years is about self-driving cars.
Yes.
And who is in the lead and where everybody is. And for a long time, people thought that maybe Waymo, Google was at the top and Cruise was coming up there. And a lot of people thought for a long time that Tesla was actually going to be way behind because they weren't using LiDAR, they were just using cameras. It feels like things have changed. How do you see it right now?
Well, I see Cruise as being incredibly well positioned. I mean, Cruise literally in San Francisco is 1 permit away from being able to actually charge for rides in San Francisco. So I couldn't be more proud of what the Cruise team has accomplished. And I think one of the reasons they're, in the lead is because of the deep work that they're doing with General Motors. I wouldn't trade our autonomy position with anyone.
So if I'll let you claim that you're in the lead, if you like.
Yes, I like.
Order them afterwards.
Oh,
because I'm sure you study this.
I do, but the one thing in autonomous, I think you've got to look at who actually has vehicles on the road.
So she's saying that who has vehicles on the road. Now, obviously, all the ICE vehicles on the road are useless because they don't collect any information. In the case of Tesla, they have 1 million cars on the road, and they collected, I can't remember exactly, but more than billion kilometers worth of information that they're feeding inside of the supercomputer, and with the help of AI, it's going to be absolutely insane. So again, Mary, you are wrong.
Policy question for you, Washington question for you, in particular incentives, tax incentives for EVs. As you know, you have become now the beneficiary to some degree of this latest bill, in that there will be a bigger tax incentive for your vehicles because you have union labor than there will be for other vehicle makers, including the likes of Tesla and Toyota. Is that fair?
Well, I think the new legislation that's coming, I think what's really important to do is to level the playing field from the fact that the early movers were penalized. I mean, we've already used our 200,000 credits, so people who are just now rolling out an EV, they have a $7,500 advantage.
Well, he wasn't asking about early movers. He was asking about union labor. Mary appears to be mastered the art of not answering questions.
It appears by my math that on average, Tesla employees who are non-unionized appears on an hourly basis may be making more money than unionized workers, for example, at GM.
I'd have to see the information because it's not just the wage per hour, it's the benefits, it's the health care. There's a, pretty robust. My last look at that was not the case.
You appreciate that it does disadvantage the other automakers.
I think that again, everyone has that option to do that. I mean, people have taken different positions. What I can say is, we feel working with the UAW together.
Blah 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 blah.
Let me read you what Elon Musk said about this, though, because you probably have read this. He wrote, "This is written by Ford and UAW lobbyists as they make their electric car in Mexico. Not obvious how this serves American taxpayers."
Again, I think that
I think she's getting mad with the interviewer mentioning Tesla and Elon Musk. Let's see where it goes.
Let me ask you a related question, and I'm sorry to harp on Tesla, but I know it's a company that you and others look at as, frankly...
I'd rather talk about GM,
no,
though.
I know, but I don't want to talk about Tesla in this regard, but I want to understand it.
She doesn't want to talk about Tesla. Of course, I understand her. She's the CEO of GM, but to me, she is like completely ignoring Tesla. She cannot even say the word Tesla. I don't think she even mentioned the word Tesla in the whole interview. To me, what's happening here, she is in denial. She's in denial, and like she's basically ignoring the fact that there's this huge market leader, Tesla, that is leading the whole movement, and she's just ignoring that and keep talking about GM leading this. So I'm wondering where it's coming from.
You've spent a lot of time with this new administration, and interestingly enough, they've had a number of meetings around EVs, and somewhat surprisingly, at least to some, Tesla has not been invited to those meetings. Do you know why that is?
I have no idea. I'm not in charge of the guest list.
But do you sit there and say this is a little strange, given the role that they played?
Andrew, I don't.
You don't? You really don't?
I don't give that a lot of thought.
What? You don't feel that it's strange that Tesla is not invited to the EV meetings in the White House? I mean, this is absolutely insane, and I think this is all leading towards one person. You're going to see what I mean in a few minutes, and probably that person gives her the power or this insanity to ignore Tesla, because it is insanity to ignore Tesla at this point when they're clearly the leader.
Let me ask you then a different question, unrelated to policy, but really related to the vehicles and the infrastructure around the vehicles. Again, I'm going to mention Tesla, but you'll see where this is going. Tesla makes this deal with Hertz recently, or at least we think that there's a deal in place with Hertz.
I don't know what's true there.
We don't know what's true. But part of the reason that at least the stock market seemed to give them some more value was because they said that there's a lock-in effect. That if Hertz buys 100,000 of these vehicles, it's not just the vehicles, but it's the infrastructure and the supercharging stations that they're ultimately going to be buying as well, and that creates a long-term lock-in effect. And I'm curious how you think about that lock-in effect and whether you think that's real.
I don't know
and whether you need to be doing the same thing effectively.
Well, we already have announced at our investor day that we're investing over, $750 million in creating the infrastructure. Excuse me, because we know.
I think she doesn't know what to say. She's talking about the plans to invest into infrastructure. Here we are at the end of 2021, and they're just planning to invest into infrastructure for EVs, and they're planning to be the leader. I think this is completely out of control here. She's just trying to probably save her image or something like that. She's completely clueless.
We talk to customers all the time, and it's got to be a beautifully designed vehicle in the segment they want. It's got to have about 300 miles of range, but then they want to know that there's a trusted infrastructure. And so we're working with a number of startups. We're doing our own investment because we think people need to be able to charge at home, at work, and then on the road.
And that's the problem. She just mentioned that they're working with a number of startups to create that infrastructure. Later on, they will be blaming those startups for not providing the proper equipment, just like they're blaming now the chip manufacturers for not producing enough chips. Tesla doesn't have that integration. They own everything. They build their own chargers, and that's why nobody can catch Tesla.
Do you think it's ever going to be seamless when it comes to these different stations that are going to be run by different companies across the country in the same way? Again, I go back to Tesla, the way that's set up.
Poor guy, afraid to mention even Tesla because he knows that irritates her, but let's keep watching here.
We're kind of almost, if you can think about it, the aggregator. It's go to my Chevy app and you select, and we're working with all of these partners to make sure it's easy. It's one-click payment, reservation, know it works. All of those things are going to be very important. So we're working to do that broadly.
We were talking to the Secretary of State earlier, and we were talking in particular about what's happening in Taiwan and semiconductors. This is having a huge impact on your business. Where are we right now?
Here we go.
So I think, we're seeing fourth quarter get better than third quarter. I think third quarter we were a bit disproportionately hit because of COVID in Malaysia. But as we move forward, we're seeing fourth quarter better. We have line of sight on 22. The second half of 22, I think, is going to be even better. And we see a very robust roadmap with all of our products coming out. We'll have a new truck capacity with new enhanced vehicles, trucks that are, have more featured, more models, Super Cruise, and they're more greenhouse gas efficient.
She's not even answering the question properly. She talks about new models coming out when he clearly asked her about what's happening with the shortage of chips. And have you ever heard Tesla complaining about shortage of chips? No, because they created their own world where they can quickly change the software even to accommodate for different types of chips. So that's the leadership that we need to see in these automakers. Like when people, especially like Mary, she's the CEO of GM, when she is complaining and gives reasons, excuses why the company is not achieving their goals, like you can see that's not going to get them where they want to be. And here's another short clip that shows that Mary is absolutely delusional.
Right now, Tesla is at 63% market share. By 2025, some believe that you can catch Tesla. You guys are at, 9-10% right now in the U.S. Do you think that you can catch Tesla by 2025?
Absolutely, Phil.
All right, so now let's talk about the person I referred to earlier, the person who gives Mary that power, maybe that delusion about them being the leader. And of course, I'm talking about the President Biden.
In the auto industry, Detroit's leading the world in electric vehicles.
Detroit is leading the world in electric vehicles?
You know how critical it is? Mary, I can remember talking to you way back in January about the need for America to lead in electric vehicles. And I can remember your dramatic announcement that by 2035, GM would be 100% electric. You changed the whole story, Mary, wherever you are. There you are. You did, Mary. You electrified the entire automobile industry. I'm serious. You led, and it matters.
I can't stop laughing here. Those words, you electrified the entire auto industry, referring to General Motors. This is, I don't know, something's wrong with President Biden, but he is probably also in denial. By the way, he never said the word Tesla in his presentation when he was in front of the GM people at their factory. I can't believe he actually said that. He said, you led, Mary. I mean, a few years ago, even up until 2020, GM was petitioning against the Environmental Act that was supposed to limit emissions. And here they are claiming to be the leaders in auto industry. I mean, this is a shame. This is a shame, guys. Let's look at another CEO, Jim Farley. Ford CEO Jim Farley has praised Tesla recently in an internal meeting. Mary, you should learn. He said, look at Tesla. Why are they doing what they're doing and what can we learn from them? First, they have a direct model. There is no one in between. They make it so easy. 3 or 4 clicks configuring the vehicle with not a lot of complexity to delivering it to the customer. Simple, non-negotiated pricing. A large reservation system as well as remote service. And then he says, Tesla maximizes use of electrons in the vehicle. No one does it better than they do. Their customers pay less for a better battery. Perfect. He is not in denial. He is accepting the fact that Tesla is the leader, that Tesla has the best batteries on the market. The product itself is highly differentiated from the rest of the ICE field, and complexity is tiny compared to OEMs. That allows them to have enormous reuse that we've never seen in our ICE business. Tesla can scale quickly because of that complexity reduction. They can drive costs down, which they have. They can keep processes simple. Again, he's using Tesla as inspiration by sharing his insight with his team. Let's see what Volkswagen CEO Herbert Diess says about Tesla. He was asked to address the gap between Tesla and European automakers.
Can the gap between what Tesla is doing and what you and other European automobile manufacturers are doing, can that gap be bridged?
I think so, because the race is open. This is not an industry which you can conquer within a few years or so. This is not tech, so you need life cycles, you need product, you need plant capacities, you need market, you need to earn the trust of the customer. So this is a long run. And yes, there are a few startups which we are watching closely, and Tesla for sure is in the lead in some aspects there. But we are not so far behind, and we are gaining momentum.
I love this guy because he clearly understands that, Tesla is in the lead. He is not denying that fact. He also understands that it takes years. It's not going to happen overnight for a company, for an typical OEM to develop that infrastructure, to build manufacturing plants, to get closer to Tesla, to reduce that gap. But guess what? Tesla is not staying still. So to catch them will take almost like impossible task, because Tesla is accelerating with every day, with every factor, with every improvement. They're getting ahead, and the gap is actually increasing. And I also love this guy because he is not just talking about Tesla and Elon Musk publicly, he's also sharing some of this admiration of Tesla amongst his senior executives. Recently, Herbert Diess invited Tesla CEO Elon Musk to call to an internal conference with 200 of Volkswagen executives. Can you imagine that? In an effort to spur further innovation from his company. Here's what Herbert said about Tesla. Today, Tesla sets the standard here. They build the car around the software. Updates are already part of everyday life for Tesla customers. Tesla has long been appreciated for the software, range and acceleration of its cars, but has had problems with quality. The production was ridiculed. But our main competitor is learning fast. The quality is getting better, the customer feedback more positive. And in Brandenburg, Tesla wants to build 500,000 cars with 7,000 people, direct and indirect, and with an impressive productivity, expected 90 units per hour in one line, 10 hours per car. In Zwickau, we are at over 30 hours. We want to achieve 20 hours next year. We originally started with a project target of 16 hours. He's acknowledging publicly that they build their cars 3 times slower than Tesla. He is not ashamed of that. He is actually using that as inspiration for his team. And he continues, even if I stop talking about Elon Musk, he is here to stay, revolutionizing our industry and quickly becoming more competitive. The Tesla Model 3 was the best-selling car in Europe in September, ahead of the Golf. And this despite the fact that Tesla doesn't even build in Europe yet. Tesla only imports so far. Only those who understand and have an eye on the competition can win. Tesla is the benchmark today. Tesla is the benchmark today, he said. That's it. That's how every executive, every automaker executive should think, not be in denial, because it's clear. Tesla is leading this world, and I don't think anyone can catch up on them. But at least if you want to catch up on them, be inspired, use them as inspiration, and don't deny them. So my personal opinion is that nobody can catch Tesla in the EV market in the next 5 or even 10 years. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below if you think GM or Ford or Volkswagen have any chance of catching Tesla in the EV sector. Let me know in the comments below, and also include your reasoning, please. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to this channel because there are more news about Tesla that are coming your way.